So we're going to be looking at subtracting polynomials. What's the first step? What was the first thing we did yesterday when we were adding? Yeah, is that what you said? Sorry? Yeah, remove the brackets. So the first set of brackets, can we simplify anything inside that bracket? No. How come? Are any of them like terms? No, so we're just going to drop the brackets. So we have 3x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now, you notice here that it says take away this, take away this, and take away this, right? There's three terms that you're subtracting. Well, what do you think is going to happen to all the signs inside the bracket? They change, exactly. What happens when you have a negative and a negative? When you take away a negative, it changes to positive. What about if you're subtracting a positive? This sign changes to a negative. Good. So what do you think is going to happen to the last sign? Right, because a negative and negative is a positive. So all that's happening is you remove the first set of brackets, and then for each sign inside the second bracket, you just change the sign. It becomes the opposite sign. Okay, so now that we've removed the brackets, we're going to group all of our terms that are alike. Let's start with the first one. Which term goes with 3x squared? Which other term has x squared? Good. Positive 2x squared. Good. Do we have any more x squared terms? Nope. So let's find the next term. Positive 5x. Are there any other terms that just have the x? Good. Negative, and we can put a 1 there, negative 1x. And then we have our negative 6. Let's write that here. And is there any other term that's just a number by itself, Aaliyah? Positive 9. And we've used all of our terms. We've rearranged them and grouped them together. Okay, now that our terms are grouped together, the like terms, we can just simplify it. What's 3x squared plus 2x squared? 5x squared, good. What's 5x, take away 1x? 4x, and is it positive or negative? Don't forget to include the sign. It's a positive 4x. You have 5, you take away 1, you still have 4. And then we have negative 6 plus 9. Positive or negative? Good. Positive 3. And we can check our answer. We have an x squared term, an x term, and a number by itself. So we know we're done. We can't simplify this anymore. We've grouped all of our like terms together. Okay, so in the next example, again, we're going to do the first step together. What's the first step? What do you want to get rid of? You need to get rid of the brackets. So the first bracket, you cannot simplify anything inside the bracket because none of the terms are the same. So we're just going to remove the brackets for the first one. There's nothing in front of the bracket here, so we don't have to change any of the signs. Okay, now the second bracket has a negative in front of it. What's the first term inside the second bracket? What's this term? It's a positive. Good, it's a positive 1x squared. So what happens to this positive 1x squared? It becomes negative 1x squared. Then what happens to the negative 4x? It becomes good. And then the positive 2 becomes good. Now all you have to do is group your like terms. Again, we'll start with the very first term. The very first term is a 3x to the power of 4. Do you see any other terms that have x to the power of 4? You do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Then you just leave it. You can't group that. It just stays by itself, exactly. Okay, so I'm done with that one. I can't group that with anything. It cannot be simplified. Let's look at the next term. Don't forget to include the sign. Negative 2x squared. Are there any more x squared terms? What is it? Good. Is that it? Good. So I'm going to write negative 2x squared and negative 1x squared. I'm just making sure that I'm rearranging all my terms and putting them together. Okay, the next term is positive 3x. Do you see any other x terms? Good. Positive 4x. So I'm going to write positive 3x and positive 4x. And then finally, the last term, we have a negative 9. And then this is just a number by itself. So those two terms are like terms. Now we group, and I color-coded it so you can see which terms you're going to group together. Can I group anything with 3x to the power 4? Nope, so that stays the way it is. Then we have negative 2x squared, take away 1x squared. What's a negative 2? Take away 1. Good. Negative 3x squared. Then we have positive 3x plus 4x. What's a positive 3 plus 4? Positive or negative? Positive 7x. Good. Then finally we have negative 9 subtract 2. What's negative 9 take away 2? Negative 11. And that's it. We can't go any further. We're left with how many terms at the end? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are any of them alike? Nope. So we know we're done.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.